Self-discipline is the secret that transforms dreams into achievements. Many people ask me, Jack, what truly sets apart those who reach the top? I always respond that it's not innate talent or circumstances, but the ability to do what needs to be done, even when there's no willpower or motivation. This strength builds consistent habits and turns small daily actions into extraordinary results. You may not have been born with apparent advantages, but self-discipline is a skill anyone can develop. The most fascinating part? It costs nothing but effort and intention. When I was young, I wasn't the smartest or most talented. In school, I faced rejection many times, but I understood one crucial thing. No matter how hard it seems, there's always a way. To discipline yourself means setting clear goals and not just dreaming, but committing to them. Think of it as planting a seed. Water it every day, even if the sun doesn't shine. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Remember, if not now, when? If not me, who? If not you, who will make it happen? There's one powerful skill everyone can master: discovering your unique strengths and using them to your advantage. Maybe you're good at communication, problem solving, or creativity. These qualities are your steps to success, but discipline keeps your climb steady. Even the brightest talents lose their shine without the commitment to act. So ask yourself, what am I willing to do every day to grow? Self-discipline is also how you overcome the failures of motivation. There will be days when you don't want to get out of bed. I know because I've been there. But the difference between success and failure lies in your ability to act even when you don't feel inspired. Remember, habits become your strength. Over time, what seems like an effort now will become second nature, and that's what will take you further than you ever imagined. Above all, find a purpose that drives you. A clear purpose turns even the smallest tasks into parts of a greater mission. When I started Alibaba, I had no money and no experience in technology, but I had a vision that kept me grounded, even on the toughest days. That's what I wish for you: the ability to get up every day and tell yourself, today is another step toward my dream. When I look back, I see that my greatest strength was never money, connections, or intelligence. It was my mindset. I always believed that the way you think shapes what you achieve. In my early days, when I failed at so many jobs, even being rejected to work at KFC, I could have convinced myself that failure was my destiny. But something inside me said the problem wasn't with the world. It was with how I saw the world. The mind is like a lens. If it's clouded with biases or doubts, all you'll see is a world full of closed doors. But when you clean that lens and decide to view things with optimism, you realize there's always an opportunity hidden, even in the worst moments. That's how I built Alibaba. While others saw obstacles in the internet, I saw possibilities. The secret? I changed how I thought. As I often say, if not now, when? If not me, who? And that started to change everything. I remember when people said that someone like me, a teacher from Hangzhou, could never understand business, let alone technology. But here's what I learned: your reality changes when you believe you can change. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but looking at them as challenges you are meant to overcome. It's like adjusting a camera angle. What seems confusing up close can be fascinating when you view it from another perspective. Have you ever tried changing how you look at your problems? It can change your life. One thing that kept me strong was curiosity. I always asked, why is this happening to me? And more importantly, what can I learn from this? When you adopt this mindset, no failure can defeat you. I remember so many moments when I thought about giving up. But instead of asking whether I should stop, I asked myself what I hadn't tried yet. Each challenge I faced ended up teaching me something I later used to grow. The truth is this: the world won't change for you, but you can change how you see the world. When you adjust your mindset to see possibilities instead of problems, everything transforms. When you're poor, if you have a dream, you never feel poor. I always dreamed big, even when everything around me was small. And what if you decide to do the same? After all, what's holding you back isn't the world out there, but the limitations you accept within. The power of identifying limiting beliefs. When I was young, I often heard that someone like me, growing up in Hangzhou with no money, no connections, and no background in technology, could never achieve great things. I believed that for a while. But then I realized the biggest obstacle wasn't what people said. It was what I told myself. Your beliefs can either be the springboard to success or the anchor that keeps you in the same place. We all have stories we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough. I don't have the resources, or it's not the right time. But here's the secret. These beliefs are not facts. They're just ideas we repeat until they feel like truths. One day, I decided to ask a simple question. Is this belief a fact or an assumption? When I realized that many of my limitations were invented by me, I began rewriting those stories. I remember a time when someone on my team said our business model would never work outside of China. He had his reasons, but his belief limited our vision. I told him, if you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. And that's what we did. We didn't change the world, we changed how we approached it. By challenging our beliefs, we expanded Alibaba into international markets, something many thought was impossible. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that the most dangerous limiting belief is thinking success is reserved for others. Many of you may be thinking the world is full of barriers you can't overcome. But in reality, those barriers are inside you. Each time you challenge one of these ideas, you create space for new possibilities. It's like tearing down invisible walls. But you have to be willing to ask, is this wall really there, or did I imagine it? What's holding you back right now? I'll tell you this. What transformed my life most was my willingness to question the stories I'd been told, and more importantly, the ones I told myself. If you start doing this, you'll see the world is full of doors waiting to be opened. But first, you have to unlock your mind. One of the most important lessons I've learned in life is that failures aren't the end. They're teachers. If you ask me what helped me build Alibaba the most, I'd say it was my mistakes, the times I fell and had to get back up again. I've failed so many times I've lost count, but each failure made me stronger and more prepared. The truth is, failures don't define who you are. They show you who you can become. I clearly remember the early meetings I had with investors. I tried to explain my vision for Alibaba, but many simply didn't understand. I was rejected by over 30 investors. Some said my dream was absurd. Others didn't even listen. Those moments could have made me give up, but I chose to see them differently. Every no was a chance to refine my approach, to learn how to communicate better, and to adjust my strategy. The failures became the map that guided me. Failures often feel like an enormous weight, but I see them as a compass. When something goes wrong, it points out what needs to be fixed. For example, when I launched my first attempt at an online business, it completely failed. I could have thought, maybe I'm not good at this. But instead I asked, what is this failure trying to teach me? That mindset helped me build a stronger model for Alibaba and eventually overcome obstacles. Failing is also an opportunity to connect with others. One of my greatest lessons came from sharing my failure stories with my team. I'd say, if I can make so many mistakes and still keep going, so can you. This created an environment of trust and resilience, where everyone understood that making mistakes was allowed, as long as we learned something from them. Failures unite us because they remind us we're all human, always learning. So, what do you do with your failures? Do you hide from them, or do you use them as fuel? I often say success can be good, but failures are irreplaceable. They're the steps to something greater if you're willing to learn. When the next failure comes, and it will, don't fear it. Be grateful for it. Because that's how you start turning every defeat into a step toward your greatest triumph. One of the most powerful tools I've ever used is visualization. It's not magic, and it doesn't mean you sit back and wait for things to happen. Visualization is about seeing your goal so clearly in your mind that it feels almost real. When you can see it, your mind starts working to find solutions, and your actions align with that vision. When I started Alibaba, I didn't have money or resources, but I had a clear picture of what I wanted to build. That vision kept me moving forward, even on the hardest days. Imagine standing at the base of a mountain. If you keep looking at the peak and think about how far it is, you might feel overwhelmed. But if you focus on the next step, and then the next, eventually you'll find yourself at the top. Visualization works the same way. You see the peak in your mind, but you take small, consistent actions every day to get there. It's this combination of dreaming and doing that creates transformation. I often tell people, if you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. This means you have to adjust your approach, your mindset, and your habits to achieve your goals. Visualizing success helps you identify what needs to change within you. It's not about waiting for opportunities to come to you. It's about creating opportunities through focused action. Small, consistent steps toward your vision build unstoppable momentum. Some people think visualization is just about the big dream, but I believe it's also about seeing each step clearly. When I faced challenges early in my career, I used to imagine myself overcoming them. This mental practice gave me the confidence to take real-world action. Whether it was convincing investors, motivating my team, or finding innovative solutions, the mental rehearsal prepared me for the real thing. Success doesn't just happen. It's practiced in your mind before it's achieved in reality. So here's the question. What do you see when you close your eyes? Is it the life you want to live, the person you want to become, or the impact you want to make? Whatever it is, hold on to that vision. Then every day, take one step toward it. Success is not about massive leaps. It's about showing up consistently and turning your vision into action. That's how change happens. One day, one step, one action at a time. Gratitude as a tool for resilience. Gratitude is one of the most underrated tools for success. In my journey, I've faced countless challenges, rejection, failure, moments of self-doubt. But what kept me grounded wasn't just ambition. It was the ability to look around and appreciate what I already had. Gratitude is not about ignoring difficulties. It's about finding strength in what's already working. Even during Alibaba's toughest times, I reminded myself to be thankful for the small victories because they were the foundation for bigger achievements. When we're chasing goals, it's easy to focus on what's missing, the resources, the opportunities, the recognition. But I've learned that focusing only on what you lack can drain your energy. Gratitude, on the other hand, replenishes it. Take a moment and think about it. No matter where you are, there's something to be thankful for. It could be the people around you, the lessons from failure, or even the chance to try again. Gratitude is like fuel. It powers you through tough times. During one of Alibaba's earliest struggles, I remember sitting with my team and reflecting on our journey. We had no big investors, no strong brand, and no certainty of success. Yet, we were thankful for the passion we shared and the belief in our vision. That gratitude kept us united and resilient. If we had only focused on what we didn't have, we might have given up. Gratitude gave us perspective. It reminded us of why we started and why we needed to keep going. Practicing gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's about training your mind to see possibilities instead of problems. For me, it's a daily practice. I start every morning by thinking of 3 things I'm grateful for, no matter how small they are. This simple habit shifts my mindset and helps me approach the day with optimism and clarity. Gratitude is not just a mindset, it's a strategy for resilience. So how do you build gratitude into your life? It's not complicated. Start small. Write down one thing every day that made you smile or gave you hope. Over time, you'll notice how this practice changes your perspective. Gratitude isn't just about celebrating what you've achieved. It's about recognizing what's helping you grow. And when you do that, resilience becomes second nature. Negativity is a part of life. It's unavoidable. What defines you is not whether challenges arise, but how you respond to them. I've faced criticism, doubt, and countless obstacles throughout my career. But here's what I've discovered. Every problem carries an opportunity within it, like a seed waiting to be nurtured. The key is to shift your focus from, why is this happening to me, to, what can I learn from this? When people criticized my early ideas for Alibaba, calling them unrealistic or doomed to fail, I didn't let negativity consume me. Instead, I reframed those opinions as valuable feedback. If someone doubted our capabilities, I asked myself if there was a kernel of truth in their words that could improve our strategy. Challenges are like uncut diamonds. They look rough at first, but with effort, they shine. This mindset has helped me turn countless setbacks into stepping stones. Reframing negativity doesn't mean ignoring reality. Instead, it's about training yourself to see the silver lining in every situation. For example, when we struggled to compete against larger, well-funded companies, I realized our lack of resources could be an advantage. It forced us to be creative, agile, and deeply connected to our customers. What seemed like a disadvantage became our edge. It's easy to get stuck in the mindset that life is happening to you. But what if life is happening for you? Every time you face a challenge, imagine it as a question the universe is asking, how will you grow from this? The ability to find the opportunity in adversity is what sets successful people apart. It's not about avoiding negativity, but about transforming it into fuel for growth. Remember this, life isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. Negativity will always knock on your door, but you decide whether to invite it in or use it as motivation to push forward. The next time you encounter a setback, ask yourself, where is the opportunity here? You might be surprised at how much power lies in that simple question. In business and in life, emotions are powerful. They can inspire action, but if left unchecked, they can lead to impulsive decisions. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It means understanding them and using them wisely. When challenges arise, it's natural to feel frustrated, angry, or even scared. But the question is, how will you respond? There was a time when we faced a major crisis at Alibaba. I was furious about the situation, and my first instinct was to act immediately. But I paused. I took a deep breath and gave myself space to think clearly. That moment of emotional control allowed me to make a better decision, one that ultimately helped us navigate the crisis. A simple breath can sometimes mean the difference between success and failure. Emotional intelligence is not just about managing your own emotions. It's about understanding those of others. When I lead my team, I try to recognize their feelings. Are they frustrated, motivated, anxious? This awareness helps me guide them more effectively. If you can stay calm in the storm, you become the anchor for everyone around you. And in business, that's a priceless skill. Think of your emotions as waves. They rise and fall, but you don't have to be swept away by them. With practice, you can learn to observe them without letting them dictate your actions. Whether it's a heated argument, a sudden disappointment, or even a moment of joy, staying grounded allows you to respond with clarity and purpose. So how do you build emotional control? Start with small steps. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause before reacting. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's the best response to this situation? Over time, this habit will become second nature. Emotional control is not about being emotionless. It's about being wise enough to act with intention, not impulse. The people you surround yourself with can shape your future. Early in my career, I realized the power of influence. If you spend your time with people who believe in possibilities, you start to believe too. But if you're constantly surrounded by negativity, it's like carrying a heavy weight that slows you down. This is why I've always been intentional about my environment, choosing to be with those who inspire growth and optimism. Building Alibaba was not just about technology or strategy, it was about the team. I wanted to work with people who believed in the vision, even when it seemed impossible. Surrounding myself with positive, forward-thinking individuals made all the difference. Their energy lifted me during tough times and pushed me to keep going. Positivity isn't just contagious, it's transformational. But it's not just about people. The books you read, the content you consume, and the conversations you have all feed your mindset. I've always believed in learning from great minds, whether through mentorship or reading their stories. One book that had a profound impact on me is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It taught me the value of strategy and resilience, lessons I still apply today. Creating a positive environment doesn't mean avoiding reality or ignoring challenges. It's about choosing to focus on what can be done rather than what can't. When negativity creeps in, ask yourself, is this helping me grow or holding me back? Let that question guide your decisions about who and what you allow into your life. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they lifting you up or holding you back? Take a moment to reflect. Creating a circle of positivity isn't just about success. It's about building a life where you thrive. And that starts with one simple choice, to let go of what drains you and embrace what inspires you. Adversity is inevitable. No one escapes it. But the way you respond to challenges defines your journey. I've faced storms that felt insurmountable, rejections, failures, even moments when I doubted my own vision. But every challenge taught me this. Resilience is not about avoiding the storm. It's about learning to dance in the rain. When I started Alibaba, the road was anything but smooth. We had no money, no resources, and no guarantee of success. There were days when I felt like giving up, but I reminded myself that the storm wouldn't last forever. Resilience is about holding on to your purpose, even when the winds are strong. It's about standing firm and finding ways to adapt. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to grow. I often compare challenges to weights in a gym. At first they feel heavy, but over time, they make you stronger. When we faced competition from much larger companies, we didn't shrink back. Instead, we learned to be quicker, more innovative, and more determined. Resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving despite the odds. One of the best ways to build resilience is to see challenges as teachers. Every setback carries a lesson, but only if you're willing to learn. When things don't go your way, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? That mindset will turn every failure into a stepping stone for success. Resilience doesn't mean going through life without struggles. It means embracing them as part of your story. The storms will come, but they don't define you. What defines you is your ability to keep moving forward, one step at a time. And when the sun finally comes out, you'll be stronger and more prepared for the next chapter of your journey. One of the hardest but most liberating lessons I've learned is the art of letting go. We all carry things from the past, regrets, disappointments, or even goals that no longer serve us. But holding on to these things is like walking with a heavy backpack filled with rocks. It slows you down, drains your energy, and keeps you from moving forward. I realized early in my journey that to grow, I had to let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means creating space for something new. I remember when some of Alibaba's early projects didn't work out as planned. There was a part of me that wanted to hold on, to keep trying, even though the market had moved on. But I had to accept that not every idea is meant to succeed. By letting go of what wasn't working, we freed up time and resources to focus on what truly mattered. We often hold on to grudges or failures, replaying them in our minds like old movies. But ask yourself, is this helping you grow? For me, forgiveness of myself and others was a turning point. I let go of the need to be perfect, of the mistakes I had made, and even of the people who doubted me. That decision lifted a weight off my shoulders and allowed me to focus on the future. The beauty of letting go is that it brings clarity. It's like cleaning out a cluttered room. At first, it's hard to decide what to throw away, but once you do, you can finally see the space and potential you've been missing. Letting go isn't just an action, it's a mindset. It's about trusting that what's ahead is better than what you're leaving behind. So what are you still carrying that you need to let go of? Picture yourself setting it down and walking forward without it. The process may feel uncomfortable, but it's necessary. The past doesn't define you unless you let it. Letting go is not the end. It's the beginning of something lighter, freer, and more aligned with who you're meant to become. Throughout my life, I've always believed in the power of learning from others. No one succeeds alone, and the fastest way to grow is to seek advice, mentorship, and inspiration from those who've walked the path before you. Early in my career, I didn't have access to famous mentors, but I found inspiration in books, stories, and even the challenges faced by my competitors. Everyone has something to teach if you're willing to learn. One of the greatest lessons I learned came from observing others who succeeded despite overwhelming odds. I remember reading about how Steve Jobs believed in simplicity and how his focus transformed Apple. That inspired me to approach Alibaba with a similar clarity of vision. When you study great leaders, you realize that success leaves clues. The question is, are you paying attention? Mentorship doesn't always mean having a direct teacher. Sometimes, your mentors are the people you admire from afar. I often looked at how global companies adapted to change and tried to apply those lessons in China. By staying curious and open-minded, I found that inspiration could come from anywhere, even from the mistakes others made. Learning doesn't just come from success, it also comes from failure. But inspiration is only the beginning. What you do with that knowledge is what matters. Many people consume advice but never act on it. I always tell my team, knowledge is useless without action. When you learn something new, immediately think about how you can apply it. That's how you turn inspiration into transformation. So, who are you learning from? Who inspires you? Take the time to find mentors. whether in person, through books, or even online. The right guidance can save you years of trial and error. But remember, while others can show you the way, it's up to you to walk the path. Learning from others is a gift, but the real work is yours to do. If there's one thing I truly believe, it's that growth never stops. Life is a constant journey of learning, adapting, and improving. When I started Alibaba, I knew nothing about technology. I wasn't a coder, and I didn't have a background in business. But I didn't let that stop me. Instead, I embraced the mindset that I could learn, grow, and figure things out along the way. That mindset has been my greatest strength. A growth mindset is about seeing challenges as opportunities. When we faced competition from global giants, I didn't see it as a reason to give up. I saw it as a chance to innovate and improve. Every obstacle became a question: what can we do better? This mindset doesn't just change how you see problems, it changes how you approach life. Many people think they need to be perfect to start something new. But the truth is, you don't have to be great to begin. You just need to begin. I often remind myself of this. I'm not good at this yet, but I can get better. That simple belief has helped me through countless challenges. Growth is not about being the best right away, it's about getting better every day. One of the best examples of the growth mindset is in how we handled failures at Alibaba. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, we focused on what we could learn. That shift in perspective allowed us to turn setbacks into stepping stones. The key is to see yourself as a work in progress, always evolving and improving. So how do you develop a growth mindset? Start by replacing "I can't" with "I can learn how." When you make mistakes, don't see them as failures. See them as lessons. And most importantly, never stop asking yourself, how can I grow today? Life will keep presenting challenges, but with the right mindset, every challenge becomes an opportunity to rise higher. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from taking action. Early in my career, I often doubted myself. I wasn't the smartest or most talented person in the room, and I had no guarantees of success. But I learned something valuable. Consistent action is more powerful than doubt. Each small step builds momentum, and that momentum creates confidence. When you act, even when you're unsure, you prove to yourself that you're capable. When we started Alibaba, there were days when nothing seemed to work. Investors rejected us, competitors outpaced us, and doubt loomed over our heads. But instead of focusing on the mountain ahead, we focused on the next step. Whether it was reaching out to one more partner, improving a single process, or brainstorming one new idea, we kept moving forward. Consistency doesn't mean perfection, it means persistence. I often tell people, don't wait for confidence to begin, start to build confidence. Action is like planting seeds. You may not see results immediately, but over time, those small efforts grow into something remarkable. Whether you're starting a business, learning a new skill, or pursuing a goal, the secret is to keep showing up. Even on days when you don't feel motivated, your actions will carry you through. One of the most powerful habits I developed was breaking big goals into small, manageable tasks. Instead of being overwhelmed by the enormity of the challenge, I focused on what could be done today. For example, when we faced tough market conditions, we didn't try to solve everything at once. We asked, what's the one thing we can improve right now? That focus on small, consistent actions created the foundation for big results. So, what small step can you take today? Remember, success isn't about giant leaps. It's about steady progress, one action at a time. The doubts will never fully go away, but they don't have to stop you. Let your actions speak louder than your fears, and watch as each step brings you closer to your vision. Stress is often seen as the enemy, but I've learned it can be a powerful ally. When I was building Alibaba, there were moments of intense pressure, deadlines, competition, and the constant fear of failure. But instead of letting stress overwhelm me, I began to see it as a signal. Stress tells you that something important is happening. The key is not to let it paralyze you, but to use it to sharpen your focus and adjust your priorities. Think of stress like fire. If left uncontrolled, it can burn everything down. But if managed well, it becomes a source of energy. During some of our toughest times at Alibaba, stress pushed us to innovate faster, think more creatively, and work more effectively as a team. I remember one critical moment when we were preparing for our first major global launch. The pressure was immense, but instead of panicking, we broke the task into smaller steps, focusing on one challenge at a time. Stress can also teach you where your limits are and how to expand them. When I felt overwhelmed, I used it as an opportunity to step back and ask, what's the real issue here? Is this an obstacle or is it a disguised opportunity? Often stress highlighted areas where we needed to grow or improve. By addressing those areas, we turned moments of pressure into breakthroughs. Managing stress is not about eliminating it, it's about finding balance. For me, simple habits like taking short walks, practicing deep breathing, or even spending time with my family helped me stay grounded. These small practices gave me the clarity to see stress for what it really was, a challenge to be embraced, not avoided. So the next time stress creeps in, don't fear it. Use it as a tool to assess what's important, to focus your energy, and to grow. Remember, stress isn't a sign that you're failing, it's a sign that you're moving forward. How you respond to it will define what comes next. Adaptability is one of the most important traits you can develop. The world is constantly changing, and if you're too rigid, you'll break under pressure. I've always believed in being like bamboo strong, but flexible enough to bend when the winds change. Building Alibaba taught me that plans rarely go perfectly, but having a clear purpose allows you to adjust your approach without losing sight of your goals. When we started, I had no idea how much the internet would evolve. Our original vision for Alibaba had to shift many times to keep up with the rapid changes in technology and consumer behavior. Some businesses failed because they clung to old ways of thinking, but we thrived because we were willing to adapt. Flexibility doesn't mean giving up. It means finding new ways to achieve your purpose. One moment that stands out is when we entered the e-commerce market. At first, we thought our platform would only connect businesses, but as consumer demand grew, we shifted to include direct sales and online shopping. This decision wasn't in our original plan, but it aligned with our mission to make doing business easier. Flexibility allowed us to seize opportunities we hadn't initially seen. Being adaptable also means staying calm in the face of uncertainty. When plans fall apart, it's natural to feel frustrated or lost. But I've found that those moments are often when new possibilities emerge. Instead of asking, why is this happening? Ask, what can I do differently? That mindset turns setbacks into stepping stones. The truth is, uncertainty is inevitable. But if you're willing to adjust your path while keeping your purpose clear, you'll find that no challenge is insurmountable. Flexibility isn't about being weak. It's about being wise enough to grow with the changes around you. So the next time life surprises you, remember, it's not the plan that matters most. It's the purpose behind it. Success is a journey, not a destination, and every step deserves recognition. Early in my career, I thought success was only about reaching big milestones, launching a product, winning a contract, or hitting revenue targets. But over time, I realized the importance of celebrating the small victories along the way. These moments keep you motivated, remind you of your progress, and build the energy to push forward. When we started Alibaba, even the smallest achievements felt monumental. I remember the first time we had 10 customers, then 100. Each milestone was a sign that we were moving in the right direction. Celebrating those moments didn't just motivate our team, it created a culture of positivity and gratitude. Success is not a single event. It's the sum of every small win. Small victories are also a reminder to stay present. In the rush to achieve your goals, it's easy to focus only on what's next. But taking time to acknowledge what you've already accomplished grounds you in the moment and renews your energy. It's like climbing a mountain. Every step matters, and each one deserves recognition. Celebrating doesn't have to be extravagant. It can be as simple as sharing a story with your team, taking a moment to reflect, or even giving yourself a well-deserved break. These small celebrations create momentum, turning short-term wins into long-term success. They remind you that progress, no matter how small, is still progress. So what small victories have you achieved recently? Take a moment to celebrate them. Success is built on the foundation of daily effort, and every win, no matter how minor, is proof that you're on the right path. By appreciating the journey, you'll find joy in the process and motivation to keep going. When I think about success, it's never just about money, fame, or accolades. True success is about the impact you leave behind. What will people remember you for? What difference did you make in their lives? From the start, I knew that I didn't want Alibaba to be just another business. I wanted it to inspire, to empower, and to create opportunities for millions of people. That, for me, is what building a legacy means. A legacy isn't something you create overnight. It's built through the choices you make every day. At Alibaba, we didn't just focus on profits. We focused on solving problems. We wanted to empower small businesses, help people access global markets, and create a platform that could outlast all of us. A legacy is about planting seeds you may never see fully grow, but knowing they'll benefit future generations. Your legacy doesn't have to be grand to matter. It could be the kindness you show to others, the knowledge you share, or the inspiration you give to those around you. I've always believed that leadership is about service. It's not about how much you take, but how much you give. And the more you give, the more meaningful your legacy becomes. One of the greatest lessons I've learned is that your legacy is shaped not just by your successes, but also by how you handle your failures. How do you treat others when things don't go your way? What values do you stand by when the pressure is on? These moments define the lasting impact you'll have on the world. So, what kind of legacy are you building today? It doesn't matter where you are or what resources you have. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to the story you leave behind. Focus not just on what you achieve, but on how you make others feel. That's what creates a legacy that truly endures. If I could share only one piece of advice, it would be this: find your purpose. Purpose is the force that gets you out of bed in the morning. It's the reason you keep going when things get tough. For me, purpose has always been about creating opportunities for others. From the beginning of Alibaba, our mission was clear: to make doing business easier for everyone. That clarity gave us the strength to overcome every obstacle. Purpose is what turns hard work into something meaningful. I've seen so many people burn out because they work without a deeper sense of why. But when you have a purpose, even the most difficult tasks feel worthwhile. I often say that a clear purpose transforms even small actions into part of a greater mission. It's like having a North Star. No matter how far you are, it always points you in the right direction. I remember one of the most challenging times at Alibaba when we were expanding internationally. There were moments when the setbacks felt endless. But what kept us going was our commitment to the mission. We weren't just building a company, we were creating a platform that could change lives. That sense of purpose fueled us when motivation ran out and helped us stay focused on the bigger picture. Purpose is deeply personal. It's not something someone else can give you. You have to discover it for yourself. What moves you? What difference do you want to make in the world? When you align your work with your purpose, you find energy, resilience, and fulfillment that no external reward can match. Purpose is the ultimate driver of success. So what is your North Star? Take the time to find it and let it guide your choices. With purpose, every step you take becomes a part of something greater. And when challenges come, because they always will, your purpose will remind you why you started and why you must continue.
Jack Ma delivered a remarkable presentation that inspired countless individuals to rethink their approach to life, success, and personal growth. Known for his transformative ideas and candid storytelling, Jack Ma shared his insights on how anyone, regardless of background or resources, can unlock their full potential. His words painted a vivid picture of resilience, vision, and the relentless pursuit of purpose, captivating the audience from the very beginning. At the heart of Jack Ma's message was the critical role of self-discipline. He emphasized that success is not reserved for the most talented or privileged, but for those who commit to consistent actions, even in the absence of motivation. With anecdotes from his own journey, Jack Ma reminded us that small daily efforts, like planting seeds, lead to monumental achievements over time. This principle of self-discipline, is not just a tool for productivity, but a foundation for long-term transformation. Jack Ma also explored the immense power of mindset. He explained how the way you think shapes the reality you experience, turning challenges into opportunities. Using vivid analogies, Jack Ma encouraged listeners to clean the lens through which they view the world, allowing them to see opportunities hidden in adversity. His own journey from a teacher in Hangzhou to the founder of one of the world's largest e-commerce platforms underscored the truth that a shift in perspective can unlock infinite possibilities. A recurring theme in Jack Ma's presentation was the need to identify and overcome limiting beliefs. He shared how these invisible barriers often hold people back more than external circumstances. With his trademark wisdom, Jack Ma challenged the audience to ask themselves, is this belief a fact or an assumption? By rewriting the narratives we tell ourselves, he argued, we can break free from self-imposed limitations and pursue dreams that once seemed unattainable. In one of the most heartfelt moments of the presentation, Jack Ma spoke about the importance of letting go of the past. Whether it's regret, failure, or outdated goals, he reminded everyone that holding on to unnecessary weight only slows progress. Using the metaphor of a cluttered room, Jack Ma encouraged his audience to clear space for new possibilities. This process, he explained, is not about giving up, but about creating room for growth and innovation. The concept of a growth mindset also resonated deeply throughout the talk. Jack Ma illustrated how the willingness to learn and adapt is more valuable than innate talent or expertise. Sharing examples from Alibaba's evolution, he described how embracing challenges as opportunities led to innovation and success. You don't have to be great to start, Jack Ma reminded the audience. But you do need to start to become great. Jack Ma's message was not only about personal success, but also about the profound impact of purpose. He emphasized that purpose is the guiding star that transforms everyday actions into meaningful contributions. Whether it's building a business, pursuing a passion, or helping others, purpose gives life direction and energy. Drawing from his experiences, Jack Ma explained how aligning with a clear mission sustained him and his team through the toughest challenges. The presentation concluded with a call to action, urging everyone to see success not as a destination, but as a continuous journey. Jack Ma reminded the audience to celebrate small victories and embrace the process of growth, no matter how long it takes. His words were a powerful reminder that transformation is within reach for anyone willing to act with discipline, adopt a growth mindset, and stay true to their purpose. The wisdom shared by Jack Ma in his presentation is a powerful blueprint for anyone ready to transform their life. The concepts of self-discipline, mindset shifts, and overcoming limiting beliefs are not just strategies for success, but tools for building a life of purpose and resilience. These principles challenge us to break free from excuses, take consistent action, and embrace the growth that comes with failure and change. Now, the question is, how will you use these insights? Will you take the first step toward breaking your limiting beliefs? Can you commit to small, daily actions that align with your goals? What is holding you back from starting today? Success isn't reserved for the few. It's accessible to anyone willing to put these lessons into practice. Reflect on the moments that resonated with you the most. Was it the power of gratitude as a source of strength? Or the realization that letting go of the past creates space for new opportunities? Share in the comments below which part of Jack Ma's insights you found most impactful and how you plan to apply them in your life. Whenever you feel doubt creeping in, revisit this video. Use it as a reminder of the incredible potential that lies within you. And remember, transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of steady, consistent action. Jack Ma's journey shows us that the most extraordinary success stories are built one step at a time. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to continue learning from these life-changing insights. Be sure to check out our next video, Growth Mindset: How to Be Successful, Jack Ma Powerful Speech, for more strategies to help you unlock your potential and achieve your goals.